Hello, everybody. So it's official. This is the sixth week in a row that Michael Saylor buys Bitcoin. He bought 15,350 Bitcoin over the past week, and he announced that this morning just now. So the Bitcoin yield year today is 72%, and the company MicroStrategy now owns 439,000 Bitcoin. He keeps buying, and he seems to be buying every week. This is a fascinating story. So they announced, of course, that they quote-unquote diluted another 1.54 billion to buy the 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And of course, the difference between the two is the fees. There are a few fees associated with that. The average price on the Bitcoin bought is $100,386. The stock is up in pre-market. It looks like it's going to open up for 4 to 5%, depending. So they keep diluting, and the stock keeps going up. And this is counterintuitive. And of course, if you zoom out and the stock, it's been roughly flat for a few weeks now. But if you zoom out, the fact that he keeps diluting the stock, yet the stock is either flat or up, that's not supposed to happen. This is just the nature of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is hope, as Saylor says. Bitcoin is a great thing for your balance sheet. Dilution is supposed to hurt your stock. It's not supposed to help your stock. But in the case of MicroStrategy, while investors normally, when a stock dilutes, investors, they're worried about the business risk. They're like, okay, well, I'm being diluted because they want to invest in this new project. They want to acquire another firm. They want to invest in a new business segment. They want to pay themselves a bonus, whatever. Typically, this is why investors get scared when a company dilutes. But in the case of diluting to buy Bitcoin, the market likes it. The market is not scared. When it comes to Bitcoin, it seems like Michael Saylor is able to dilute over and over and over again. This is the fifth time that he dilutes ever since I started, ramping up my coverage of the stock ever since Q3. This is the fifth time he dilutes through ATM. He diluted one time for the CB. Convertible bond, he diluted one time via convertible bond. That's going to be in the future. But most of the dilution has been through the ATM. This is the fifth time through the ATM, sixth week in a row that he buys, and the market seems to love it. Any other company who were to dilute this much, to say invest in a new business line or in a new business segment or whatever, but the stock would be down in the gutters, the stock would drop. But this seems a finance novo, like a new way of doing finance. This is not supposed to happen, yet this is happening. This is why Saylor has found a financial hack in a way to deal with the index funds and the passive flows, and a way to bring Bitcoin to the traditional market and to TradFi. And so it's entirely novel. It's newly out of the box thinking, and I find that quite exciting, quite impressive. The dilution barely moves the stock, barely drops the stock. The market is eager to buy companies that invest all of the funds into Bitcoin, into that Bitcoin endowment, that Bitcoin treasury, which is a part of MicroStrategy. So an update on the 21/21 story here. So now he's issued $13.3 billion out of the $21 billion ATM securities offering, at the market securities offering. Convertible debt program, it's still only $3 billion out of $21 billion. So this is mostly an ATM story. We now have an outpacing of the ATM compared to the converts. It's a 4.45 to 1. So he issues 4.4 times more converts, more stocks, more ATM, more new stock, freshly minted stock. He issues that at a rate well over 4x the rate at which he issues debt, convertible debt. So this is not a debt story compared to all of the FUD that you see out there, all of the shorts that you see out there, all of the criticism that you see out there. This is not a debt story. This is a black hole story. It's not a dual strategy anymore when I see this, when I see what's happening. It's a black hole story. MicroStrategy is like gravity. It's a stock that's having a bigger and bigger weight in the market, a bigger and bigger weight in the indices, and by virtue of being a bigger stock and a bigger company, and it keeps growing, and by virtue of that, it attracts new capital to take them up on the new ATM shares being offered. And so this is a gravity story, this is a black hole story. First and foremost, I don't know what share of a convertible bond story is going to be in the future, but it seems like he's running out of ATM, or he's going to run out of ATM. So, and this is another point that I want to make. Think about the convertible debt buyers right now. What if you're a hedge fund? What if you're a convertible ARB trader, volatility ARB trader, and you were planning on adding some of those convertible debt from Michael Saylor, and you were thinking, well, Michael Saylor, he's going to issue that across the next few months. I'm going to be able to get my hands on some of his debt. Well, you're desperate if you're in that situation, because Saylor hasn't been issuing any convertibles. He hasn't been issuing any convertible debts. So the next time that he offers convertible debts, well, that's going to look like a very rare instrument. People are going to be anticipating these. People are going to be grabbing these. It's going to be much more oversubscribed, I believe, than the last time he issued them, because he's not been issuing them. They are becoming more rare. He's signaling rarity if he's just doing ATMs and not issuing the debt. The debt of MicroStrategy is becoming more and more scarce, and that can probably explain quite a bit of the performance of the MSTR bonds, which is why many people want to own them. I know the vol ARB is a big reason as to why people want to own the converts from MicroStrategy, but it's also just simply bond funds who just want to own it because the bonds have performed really well. And so is he doing that? Is he starving the bond market from MicroStrategy bonds because he wants to get even better rates? Will he get negative rates on the convertible bonds in the future? Well, I believe so. And the volatility of this stock, which I see in my comments section, people get upset. Oh, the stock hasn't really moved in 2 days. Oh, it's way down in 2 days. People don't zoom out. They zoom into the stock. They look at a 4-day period and they get scared by the stock movement. Oh, the stock is down. Well, first of all, the stock is probably down because he's been doing ATMs most days of most week. He's been issuing more shares, taking on that bid on the stock. But he's also been, in my view, increasing that volatility. It's a volatility story, making sure the stock remains volatile so that the next time that those convertible bonds are issued, they're issued at a premium, which may take the form of negative interest rate. Michael Saylor is selling racing high-octane gas. He's not selling your boring convertible bonds. He's selling very exciting bonds, very hard-to-find bonds, just like unleaded racing fuel is not that easy to find. The bonds of MicroStrategy are not that easy to find. He's making them more rare by doubling down on the issuance of ATM and just issuing new shares. Will he have to reissue a 21 billion ATM offering plan? Well, I think he will, because he's running out. He issued 13.3 billion, like I said, out of a 21 billion. He's 64% done on a plan that was supposed to last 3 years. It's lasted a little over a month, 6 weeks. He's done in 6 weeks. He did what he was supposed to do, what he was planning to do in 3 years. He's 64% done. At this rate, in my view, he's only got 4 to 5 weeks left if he keeps buying up roughly at this rate. And so will he announce another ATM, the 21 billion ATM? Will he announce another ATM during the Q4 2024 call? Will he do that? Well, it looks like he still has plenty of room in the convertible notes plan that was approved. He's got plenty of room for that, but he's running out of steam. He's running out of room in the ATM plan. In my view, the next quarter he's likely to announce an expansion of the ATM program. And let me conclude this video by saying I updated my spreadsheet on Patreon. This is still under construction. Unfortunately, I'm on vacation. I don't have much time right now. I really want to update it, make that spreadsheet better. This is my under construction spreadsheet where I look at, so it's 103,000. That's the price of a Bitcoin. If you buy one Bitcoin on Coinbase or whatever, it's 103,000. And in 10 years, you have one Bitcoin today, and you have one Bitcoin in 10 years. So you take 103K, you get one Bitcoin, you hold the Bitcoin. 10 years later, you also still have just one Bitcoin. And that's if you buy it, the old way. You buy it on an exchange, right? If you buy the ETF, after 10 years, you've lost 10 years worth of fees. Well, in the case of MicroStrategy, you don't have flat Bitcoin as if you were to own it on your own in a brain wallet or on a cold wallet. You don't have negative yielding Bitcoin like ETFs. You have positive yielding Bitcoin. And how do you get access to that positive yielding Bitcoin? Well, you pay up a premium. You pay up a premium for the Bitcoin. So when you buy the Bitcoin with MicroStrategy in the form of shares, it's spend 103,000, get 0.49 Bitcoin. Right now, as I calculate the price to NAV, and I don't even include the value of a software business anymore, but if I calculate just the price to NAV, it's a 2.07. So buying Bitcoin via MicroStrategy is a little more than 2x more expensive than buying Bitcoin outright on an exchange. But on an exchange, you get no yield. With MicroStrategy, you get a yield, and it's been outstanding, the ability at which is be able to grow the yield. It grew the yield by 46% quarter to date, 72% year to date. So theoretically, if you buy a Bitcoin via MicroStrategy and you spend $100,000, you get half a Bitcoin worth of MicroStrategy shares. Theoretically, if he earns 100% yield in the next 12 months, well, your half Bitcoin grows back to one Bitcoin. And so if you assume, for example, he's going to grow the number of Bitcoin per share 15% over the next 10 years, well, half a BTC turns into 1.98 BTC. But on the other hand, if you assume that he's going to be growing the Bitcoin each year for 25% a year, each year for 10 years, then half a BTC, when you get started, turns into 4.56 BTC at the end of 10 years. And I don't even dare to imagine, I don't even dare to think, what if he's able to achieve, say, a 70% yield for just a few years? Let's not even think with 10 years, just a few years. What if he starts strong? What if year 1, year 2, year 3 that are coming up, what if he's able to start strong and keep earning, say, 70 or 80% yields for like 2 to 3 years? It's just outstanding. This is one of the most interesting stock stories, Bitcoin stories, investment stories I've ever covered on the channel, and this is the best stock I've ever owned at this point. And so, as I've noted, my top two positions are MicroStrategy and Tesla. I was covering MicroStrategy more than 2 years ago on this channel when few people were covering it, when it was trading at just about NAV. And I am strongly thinking about adding to MicroStrategy right now because it keeps showing that this strategy is working, and the addition to the QQQ that we learned 3 days ago was just outstanding. So congratulations, Saylor, congratulations, MicroStrategy, and congratulations to the holders of this stock. Obviously, this is not financial advice, not investment advice, just entertainment only on this channel, no financial advice. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on X, follow me on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.